Kia ora koutou. Ko maunga home te maunga, ko waipawa te awa, ko horuta te waka, ko te aitanga mahaki te iwi, no tūranga nui a kiwa ahau, ke te whanganui a tara e noho ana I nāianei, ko Briar tōku ingoa. I'm the Senior Creative Producer at Stqry Inc. Today I'm going to tell you about a series of online storytelling workshops that we ran with the National Heritage Board curators in Singapore in September of 2020. When we were approached by the National Heritage Board, the pandemic was already changing the ways that museums engage with their visitors. The email that we received from a curator read, "As museums in Singapore have been closed, we've had to take our programs and content digital. It's got us thinking about the capabilities that we need to build up in the long run, recognizing that effective storytelling across different media will be a core competency for our curators." Our first thought was, wow, okay, this sounds fun, followed closely by, okay, but what exactly are they after here? Eventually, we landed on this outline. Essentially, they wanted an online workshop for 15 staff from different GLAM institutions with participative activities that would help them develop confidence in storytelling across different media for both physical and online digital experiences. And because the National Heritage Board oversees 10 different museum-type visitor experiences, the content could not be too specific to the needs of just one institution or potential audience. We landed on 5 main questions that the workshop should focus on. Why are stories important? What makes a good story? What are different types of stories? How does storytelling change across different media? How does digital storytelling differ from spatial storytelling? We settled on a system where each participant would zoom in individually so that we could screen share and use an online whiteboard tool called Mural. For the content of the workshop, we shared some of the basic storytelling rules and tools we rely on at Stqry Inc. Our definition of a story is that it's a machine for engaging human attention by presenting reality to us in a form that we can understand. We believe that story machines can be made of almost anything: the spoken word, the written word, images, moving images, objects, spaces, the list goes on. So then, if a story is a machine, it must have moving parts. But how many? What's the minimum possible size of a story? For this, we generally refer to the rule of 3, a writing principle that suggests that a trio of events or characters is more satisfying or effective than any other number. The audience is more likely to remember the information because 3 is the smallest number needed to create a pattern. You can see this rule at work in story structures: beginning, middle, end. It's also obvious in classic story structures like the hero's quest. The first third is the setup, the second third is the journey itself, and the final third is the completion of the mission. Ultimately, there are really only 2 ways to engage visitors' attention with a story. You can move people emotionally, either by making them laugh or cry, or you can just be straight up interesting. The voice in which the story is told is a powerful element of engagement as well. By placing a person at the center of the story, it humanizes it and drives visitor empathy. One of our most used tools at Stqry Inc. is the humble bubble diagram. Because they are so simple and conceptual, they're a great way of plotting the basic shape of a story and how we might divide it up and arrange it. We created a sort of storytelling lean canvas on which participants were challenged to create interesting stories about seemingly mundane things like cauliflowers, applying techniques like bubble diagrams and 6-word story summaries. In a second lean canvas activity, we assigned participants an object from the collection of one of the participating institutions. They were tasked with planning a story to be told via a digital medium for that object, which they then presented back to the group. We were blown away with some of the intriguing ideas they came back with, and I think they were too. One of the most interesting things about this workshop was researching digital storytelling projects from around the world to share and discuss with the participants. We found imaginative and fun examples of the simple short form digital storytelling via Twitter, TikTok, blogs, and Instagram. And we found some beautiful projects with great design features. However, we struggled to find longer form digital projects that we could imagine visitors spending real time doing in the same way that people spend time taking in an exhibition at a museum or gallery. The reason for this is probably that online digital media is ideally suited to the short form, the bite-sized chunk. Traditionally, museums promise to provide visitors with hours of interesting leisure time, carefully curated by people like you from your collections and collective knowledge of them. But people consuming digital stories online favor the short form. A museum visit can be measured in hours, but digital interactions are usually only seconds. With digital interactions, you're competing for a visitor's attention with the whole of the internet. The overall result is a kind of power shift from the curators to the audience. So it's more important than ever to think about the voice in which the story is told, or the persona of the storyteller. Sometimes this is best done by people from within your organization communicating directly with the public. Much of the time, the point of digital stories is actually to tell people who you are and what you do. You are reaching out, and when you do that, you and your institution, in a sense, become the real story. Thank you very much for your time today. Ka kite anō.